Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for the Small Cap Growth Conference. Our next presentation of the day is from Xtreme One Entertainment. Please note you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the sides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings by clicking Book a Meeting in the top toolbar. At this point, I am very pleased to welcome Chris Defendis, President, Jeff Lambert, Chairman, and Jenny Taft, Board Director of Xtreme One Entertainment, which trades on the OTCID market under the symbol XONI. Welcome, Chris, Jeff, and Jenny.
Thank you for joining us. Xtreme One is building the next major force in sports and entertainment. We're developing scalable sports media ecosystems that combine live events, media rights, sponsorship revenue, and high-growth participation sports. Today, we'll show you why the market is exploding, how our platform strategy unlocks durable IP value, and how Xtreme One is positioned as a first-mover opportunity in the space. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Lambert to talk about the Xtreme One team and our board of directors.
Thanks, Chris, and I'll let Chris do his background a bit here after I intro the broader team and the board. And appreciate you all joining us. We're probably new on your radar screen, but ticker XONI, publicly traded, with a ton of exponential growth potential. And that really is undergirded by our world-class team. Chris and his background in WWE, HBO, Turner Network, and really on the media side of global brands and distribution rights. Chris Dawson, CFO, large family office, consumer packaged goods. Our new COO came as a result of an acquisition, and in our future growth in 7-on-7 football, led by Taylor Barton. And so you can see some of that detail yourself, but wanted to really talk about quickly our board. And it really is a collection of complementary talent, perspectives, experiences, touching on sports and media, and marketing and sponsorships. And so my background as chairman is I've been working with public companies on marketing and investor relations for 30 years, and I have finally got on the other side of the desk and an opportunity to lead this organization as chairman, and with that great leadership team. But you see some of the folks that we have on the board from industry, from backgrounds in marketing and sponsorships with Jim Cantor, formerly of Miller Coors, or Jose Lozano, a global Hispanic and global brand marketing firm. Hiram Jackson, the largest owner of black newspapers in the country. Tori Ewan, Big E, the WWE two-time world champion. And Jenny Taft, who I will let talk about herself. Otherwise, I would spend the next 10 minutes talking about her wonderful contributions to our organization. Jenny?
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you. Well, one, I'm just happy to be here and chat about Xtreme One, XFC, 7-on-7. My name is Jenny Taft. I am a sports broadcaster and host. I just wrapped up the college football season for me, which I know it's far from over for everyone else, but at Fox Sports, we don't have any of the playoffs, so that will be unique for me to sit back and watch some of these teams continue on. But I have a lot of background, obviously, in college football, and in this fighting space, MMA. I'm sitting here in Vegas, actually, and just thinking about MMA, and there's just so much growth and so much potential. Yet for us, we really want to be XFC, that entry level place where fighters can come and get some fights and build their brand and really go from there. So the potential is huge. And then we just briefly mentioned 7-on-7, but there's just so much in that world. We know how big football is for men and women. And I'm just excited to really be involved from my perspective of seeing how broadcast should be done and put together and just bring some of that expertise. But I'm excited about our potential. There's so much growth to come.
Thanks, Jenny. Chris, if we can move to the next slide and really kind of capture what we have in front of us. So our vision is to create development of minor league ecosystems under a scalable sports, multi-sports media holding company. And right today, that is the XFC, so Extreme Fighting Championships. The brand and their history of fights has been around for almost 20 years. Started in Latin America. There are over now almost 60 fights, and a fight would be defined as an event. So hundreds and hundreds of professional mixed martial arts contests that have been going on for almost 20 years, and but really was minoring in this business and hadn't really had the operations to scale. And so we are bringing, again, centralized operations. We're bringing a recurring revenue model because of the event sponsorships, attendance, ticket sales, et cetera. We have, again, all the IP that has very strong, the XFC brand has very strong familiarity. It's number 2 to UFC internationally, and that's something that we can really leverage. And then original content, broadcast rights, the potential to take it to the next level. So again, this business has been around for quite some time, but not truly operationalized and scaled. And we're scaling it in, again, the fastest growing category as an asset class in sports, and it is live sports, so high demand across all the different media platforms. And so why now? Why should we? Why should you be looking at investing in Xtreme One Entertainment? Again, this demand for sports and sports content, by definition, is original content. You don't know what's going to happen, and so the audience craves that media, that outcome, and again, it's scaling quickly. So again, 55% of broadcast spend is on live sports, combat sports, and youth sports. Again, the 2 areas where we're focusing are 2 of the fastest growing categories. Mixed martial arts is one of the fastest growing. There's different stats by country, but certainly has for the first time moved into the big leagues alongside NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball with the UFC deal with Paramount. So now it becomes an every person audience, and that is a huge opportunity for MMA. Conversely, 7-on-7 football, think of it as it's club sport, high school, basketball, baseball, and it is the club version of football. You play 7-on-7, so it's receivers, quarterback, running backs, and on the defense, corners, safeties, linebackers. But it's a great way to showcase the talent, and it's becoming the development league, and will become the development league for professionals, because now that college is paid because of NIL, and it really has become a professional sport, 7-on-7 becomes that development league. And so you have an audience in 7-on-7 where, again, the parents are bringing them to bringing their kids, they're coming as fans. There's a large revenue potential, and it's really just getting started versus other sports in this high school category. So those are kind of the 2 pieces. We have market acceptance and high growth in both MMA and sports. We also have this positioning as the development league, the minor league system for mixed martial arts. So we want to be the minors to the UFC on the MMA side, and the minor league, so the development league for NFL and college football. So we believe we're positioned to do it. From a market opportunity perspective, again, it's market sizing. 2 very large industries. Mixed martial arts is an $11.3 billion industry. Just in the U.S. alone, the UFC deal with Paramount, $7.7 billion on one media deal. Well, Chris will talk about some of our media deals, but there's a huge opportunity for the development league that's going to support that, the minor leagues. On 7-on-7 football, That's a $50 million to $200 million growth trajectory over the next 5 years into 2030. Again, youth sports, which again, football globally is a very popular sport, but in the youth sport, 7-on-7 is still developing. And again, $60 billion just the youth sports market. And then you have flag football coming to the Olympics. Again, we will be introducing flag. We have flag tournaments now. We'll be adding girls flag in 2026. So with that, I want to turn it over to Chris to tell you why we're the answer and what solutions we have to this opportunity.
Thanks, Jeff. So our solution is really a disciplined platform model spanning talent development, league operations, media production, sponsorship, sales, and technology. By uniting the two assets that Jeff mentioned, XFC Global and 7-on-7, we can really centralize operations, control rights, revenue production, and cross promotion. Nothing like this currently exists in the youth sports or the MMA space. So by centralizing operations and identifying those synergies, we can expect immediate growth in revenue upwards of 100%. In terms of traction, Xtreme One isn't just a theory. We're operating already. We're producing live media, securing partnerships, and acquiring assets that expand our commercial ecosystem. On the MMA side, XFC has been around for over 20 years. We have hundreds of hours of library content, global media deals, and recently executed our first regional MMA promotion acquisition in September of this year. 7-on-7 Association has already been around for almost 9 years and has operated a tremendously successful operation, really with limited scope and resources. And after being courted by multiple bidders, they decided to partner with us, given our broader strategy, opportunities for growth, and our desire to let the founding team really remain in place to run their business. And everything that we would be doing would be accretive to support it. And referencing a question in the chat, what is the strategic rationale for combining MMA League with youth football and girls under one platform? So essentially, think about the cross-promotional opportunities of, we have a 7-on-7 tournament in a particular city where we invite 100 teams, 15 kids on a team, plus their parents. We're able to secure revenue for team entry fees, fan admission fees, media rights, streaming rights, but also then have an XFC event that Saturday night, and we have a built-in audience of thousands of attendees in that very lucrative kind of male 12 to 18 demographic. So it's super creative to what we're trying to accomplish. In terms of the commercial validation, as we've mentioned, we've really already established ourselves on the media side via media partnerships. Our broadcast reach already exceeds over 65 million households across North America and Latin America. And our capital raise will solidify our ability to execute events at the caliber required to secure media partnerships. And we have a list of additional partners across the globe already eager to sign agreements with XFC for our live and library content. MMA content is as evidenced by the Paramount UFC deal. The MMA content is very much in demand, and there's a scarcity of it. And so we feel that the upside is tremendous. In terms of our content offering, so our content strategy really combines high margin broadcast rights with premium and scalable IP. From arena MMA events, which are pay-per-view quality and high-profile events, to monthly Young Guns events, which are more for developmental, up-and-coming fighters and original programming, we create the content that can be distributed globally, monetized digitally, and amplify through the athletes that we have under contract. In 2026, we'll get additional monetizable media streams through our 7-on-7 acquisition, both from live streaming to, of our high profile events, as well as, individual highlights for a team, individual players, as well as other digital rights that we'll be able to monetize across the board. In terms of our revenue drivers, the fact and the positive structure of our revenue streams are that they're diversified. So we can see it through media rights, sponsorships, ticketing, site fees, merchandise, event participation fees, and original content. We're not really dependent on a single revenue source, and our business model is built for scale and resilience because of that fact. In terms of our scalability, to tie a bow on it, because operations are centralized, each additional event or acquisition becomes more profitable. We share production, staffing, technology, sponsorships, as well as sponsorship teams and inventory across both sports. And really no other MMA organization or 7-on-7 entity has built a model that scales commercially in the way that we have in front of us. So I'll turn it over to Jeff to talk about our capital raise and next steps in the evolution.
Yeah, so we are moving down this path of doing a capital raise and really to fund more accelerated growth. And we kind of have a base case and an acceleration case for how we're going to execute it. But we spent the last 2 years really proving the model. So putting on great events, seen by millions of households, and experienced in the industry to prove that we can execute. And so, sorry, Chris, why don't you take over? I'm choking you for a second.
Yeah, all good. So we are in the process of completing our audit. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's essentially complete. And we will then be submitting our application to uplist to OTCQB. Additionally, that audit also unlocks our ability to offer or move forward to the Reg CF and a Reg A offering. We're prepared for a Reg A offering. However, with the government shutdown, and I think there's a backlog of about 900 applications that are out there, we've pivoted to commence a Reg CF next week with a Reg A following directly after that. And then additionally, we are open to Reg D investments. And that initial raise, the CF will be for $5 million, with the Reg A coming in at a $25 million target, but with our ability to increase that amount given a successful partnership.
Thanks, Chris. I can jump in here. Thank you. So we've partnered with Dealmaker Sports, which Dealmaker is the leader in retail investing and supporting these Reg A offerings, and they launched a sports category based off of their history with professional sports and alongside this raise. And this is really to fund for us accelerated acquisition. So we made two, one in MMA and one in the 7-on-7 space, but we want to grow additional events and grow through acquisition. And we've got a question here, which is perfectly timed, because I was just going to get to, kind of what we see as a trajectory. So if you want to click to the next slide, Chris, on our valuation. So Chris had mentioned we're looking at a 100% growth. We believe we can achieve 100% growth every year for the next 3 to 5 years. So it's hard to look past even 3 years, but based off of our pipeline, based on what we know in media, our positioning in both MMA and the opportunity with 7-on-7, there is vast opportunity from a revenue perspective. So we're expecting to grow over 100% in 2026 versus 2025. So from a valuation perspective, we engaged a top 10 U.S. accounting firm in their sports valuation practice, and they put our value at $46 million from a couple of different perspectives. a very important point. This was to value Xtreme One with the mixed martial arts, the XFC brand and operation. This did not factor in 7-on-7 and that growth that's coming in 2026. And so you could really look at that and say, okay, this is exclusive of 7-on-7. What's the potential? So from a context perspective, we certainly believe we are undervalued in the market based off our liquidity, which is why we're getting an audit, which is why we're going to move to OTCQB. But all of that is to get more of a fair market value on our stock. So we're trading in the 8 to 12 million market cap today, and based off of our potential and really independent perspective, that we're looking at a many times that potential. So very excited about the opportunity. And if you want to go to the next slide, Chris.
Yep.
And I'll let you walk through this. How do we get there?
So for some reason it's not advancing, or is it on?
It's advancing for me.
Okay. Well, there we go. It finally advanced on my side. And we have another question in the chat, and I think this is a perfect segue. So how do we plan on approaching sports betting? So we actually do plan to approach sports betting and incorporate it depending on the success of the raise. So we do plan to have a very disciplined and strategic approach to how we spend the capital raise. So at a $5 million raise, we will move forward with sports betting. There's several third-party support vendors that we've engaged with already that will help us navigate the regulatory process and the compliance process. So that's the first thing that we will explore. We will also enhance our technical and analytical and AI capabilities, grow the XFC athlete roster, and then also secure working capital to continue to execute our MMA and 7-on-7 events. Now, one of the other questions was the source of growth. So strategic M&A is also very much a source of growth for us. I equate both 7-on-7 and the MMA space, but more MMA, it's very akin to WWE back in the 1970s and 1980s when Vince McMahon bought up the regional promotions and created what is WWE today. We think there's a tremendous amount of green space in that regional kind of minor league system for MMA that we could take advantage of. Moving forward to a $10 million raise, we do want to do more events in the U.S. as well as internationally, and then build out the team to manage the growth that will come from the need to put on those additional events. And then, going to the top end of the raise, we want to get into more of IP development, not necessarily putting on the events, but really the IP aspect of telling the stories of fighters, their families, on the football side, the up and coming athletes and what they're going through throughout the recruiting process and things like that. And then, really kind of diving into developing our own production capabilities and, headquarter space that we can use as a foundation for our operations. Moving to the next slide in terms of the impact of the use of proceeds and the capital on our valuation. And again, my screen is delayed, so Jeff, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I can see it here, and really, this is we talked about kind of these. We're targeting $25 million raise, but at a base case of $5 million, we think that delivers on this 50+ million market cap opportunity. And as you go up the base growth and acceleration phase, we believe there's really a 10-to-1 return on our value because of the profitability that we can drive, the eyeballs, the media, and the sponsorships that we can scale across this. So the blue line is really some of the milestones that we're going to achieve, and move up to OTC, get more market makers. We're split so we can head toward a NASDAQ listing. We'll also be looking at acquisitions, as Chris mentioned throughout here, And so that dry powder immediately becomes scalable. And we have, again, two engines, one with a lot of heritage and a lot of traction and opportunity in MMA, and then also on the 7-on-7 football. And so I'll touch on a quick question here for Jenny that's related. So you're a sports veteran. Do you see 7-on-7 to be as successful or big opportunity as MMA?
I think it's a great question. And I think that the potential for 7-on-7 is only growing, right? We have so many conversations with coaches who are encouraging kids to play tackle football later, right? So 7-on-7 is providing that opportunity for young boys and girls to be playing football in a safer way, and you really can hone those skills. So for me, I think MMA, we know the potential, but 7-on-7, I think we are only getting started. And I think about live events, and just as we all know, these numbers are crazy, right? Like the Thanksgiving football game on Fox Sports had close to 50 million people watching. I just had Michigan, Ohio State, and we peaked over 20 million. Live events are here to stay. Why can't 7-on-7 be that? We know the potential of women's sports. We've seen the growth. We know that right now investing in women's sports is the way to go. So I think 7-on-7, the potential is huge right now, almost in an exciting way that we now have the ability to be a part of and put on these great events. And logistically, right, you don't need too much for 7-on-7. I think that's exciting about location-wise. It can be anywhere.
Thanks, Jenny. So another question here. Are we done with our slides, Chris?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yes, another question here. How do you define your business? I think we talked about that early on. We can tackle that, but really we are a multi-sport platform leveraging our media operations, event execution, marketing engines to scale multiple sports, and the leverage comes in that centralized platform. And then this one looks like for you, Chris, you plan 3 to 4 arena shows and 11 to 12 Young Guns events annually, plus regional programming. What's your production and staffing, and can you meaningfully scale this with capital?
Absolutely. So production is really outsourced to multiple third parties. So we have teams that are spread out across the country and spread out across the globe that are able to fulfill or execute our production. In terms of the docuseries, that's a whole new animal. We do have a couple of third parties that are in the business of producing docuseries. The ones that we have an agreement with, they've done the Real Housewives shows, they've done Dr. Pimple Popper of all things. So yes, we can definitely scale that pretty quickly. And the positive of that is it's not necessarily overhead that we have to have on the books year round. We can lean in and lean out when we need to.
And maybe Jenny, tag on to that, because again, you work with Fox, and they don't have 60 trucks all with the same equipment. It's really leveraging technology from in studio to also being able to partner with resources, so we don't have to have tens of millions of dollars in CapEx.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's so unique is oftentimes, you're watching a live event, and while we travel a full crew for our big game on Saturday, the biggest Fox Sports game, some of those other crews are not traveling. They're doing some LA remote production. So I think that it might look big, but there is so much more potential where we are outsourcing in a lot of successful ways. And I think the reality show aspect, the growth of telling the story of all these athletes is huge in terms of potential. I love the idea of helping these athletes with brand management and helping their own brand. So that's an area where I've tried to be involved, and hopefully will help this grow as well. Great.
Another question here. How will you deploy the monies in the raise and expected monthly burn rate in 26? So I'll take a swing at this, and feel free, guys, to jump in. So we really look at 2026 with the base case of our if we only raise $5 million, this gives us at least 18 months of dry powder to still execute on the business, to still double our revenue, and to get to our monthly burn rate that is significantly declining quarter over quarter, where we would be, we believe we can get to profitable events by the end of 2026. And so that's really our metric, is per event. So we will have most likely additional spend on scaling technology and putting resources into supporting marketing and our media partners. So to make a media partner a long-term partner, you need to show great success. And so it's not just butts and seats, but it's also advertising revenue and getting the sponsors. And so there's a lot of work to do. So from an event perspective, we are looking to be break even by the end of 26, but we'll continue to run at a deficit based off of, again, the rapid rate of marketing and operation scalability to go from, again, 4 events, main arena events to 2 main arena events to 4, a handful of young guns to 12, and then going from a dozen 7-on-7s to as many as we can produce without choking on the growth. So profitability is essential. But we believe now is the time to really hit the gas pedal for growth.
And answering another question from the chat in terms of how do we define the business. I really define the business on the MMA side and even on the 7-on-7 side, but more as a league than anything else. We're not a promoter. We are a league. And what happens in the MMA space is it's a series of one-off events with really no strategic vision for the athletes themselves. They're really up to their own devices to make a name for themselves. We want to operate it as if it's a minor league baseball entity or a minor league farm system, where we know we have a number of fighters, 20 to 30 fighters on the roster. We develop a bespoke plan for how they can get themselves to the UFC or the PFL, and we have a schedule in place that allows them to do that. That doesn't exist today because every other MMA promotion is really kind of geographically constrained. They're constrained by capital, strategic vision, a number of other reasons why. And so creating that scale, more opportunities to participate and fight, really gives them that path to what their dream is. And then we expect, and what will happen is it'll be a cycle where fighters experience success in XFC, graduate to the UFC, then another crop of fighters come in and want to fight for us because they see what happened to the class before them. So that's what we think in terms of what the business is, and the same with 7-on-7 in a little bit of a different approach. But to Jeff's point, it really is an opportunity to get seen and get noticed to play in college. The world is changing, and we want to be front and center to what that is. And I think the other piece that we're getting a little short on time, but the other piece that we're missing is really this retail investor strategy. When it comes to sports leagues, teams, etc., you're seeing a big move of private equity into the space. That's because there's only so many wealthy families or wealthy individuals that can continue to afford a sports team or a league given the skyrocketing valuations. And so this is the next frontier, is really giving fans an opportunity to participate in the sports that they love and the tickets they buy.
So we probably got time for one more question here, there's some questions here talking about interested sponsors or what other traction have you seen. We are running this as a large public company, even though we're not today, and so we can't talk about those kind of forward-looking or deals that are yet to be signed. However, we can talk about, there's a question here, what are 1 or 2 recent operational milestones that you feel are underappreciated by the market today? I think that there are 2 very recent. One of them is we had talked about early on that we wanted to put on great events and also move internationally. So we did our first international fight. We returned internationally. The XFC did over 20 major events in Latin America. We just did an event two young guns in Buenos Aires. So that was a key milestone, and that is in Latin America, we are the #2 brand from a recognition perspective behind the UFC. So big opportunity there. That's our first milestone win there. And then a second is M&A. So we have been talking in our strategic plan and other conversations in our filings about we want to acquire regional promotions like Baroka MMA in Las Vegas, which we just closed on 6 or 8 weeks ago. And a third would be move into multi-sports to leverage our bench, but also our world-class board and their relationships and connections. And that was, again, the execution of the LOI, which that deal will close before the end of the year. And that is moving into 7-on-7 football. So 3 key things that really haven't moved the needle, quite frankly. And it's an awareness function, it's a liquidity function, but we think it's a great opportunity to invest in the X. So with that, if Jenny, Chris, you had anything to add, I think we maybe just a minute of final comments, and then let's wrap this up. And thank you all for joining. Would love to do any one-on-ones or shoot an email out, and you can see Chris's email here. We'd love to have conversations with you as we scale. All right.
Biggest thing was I just want to say quickly how fun it's been for me seeing this side of it. And Jeff, when I met you a couple years ago, I would never have even envisioned this 7-on-7 vision, and it's just only growing. So one, I'm excited to be a part of it, but I think live events are here to stay, and we're going to be able to provide that for so many. So thanks for letting me join today.
Awesome. And to reiterate Jeff's point, we'd love to continue the conversation with anybody, whether it's via email or through the one-on-ones that we can schedule. Would appreciate the opportunity to share more of what we're building here. It's something truly special.
And check out our events. Go to our event schedule. You can watch them on YouTube. You can watch them on BN and several of our media partners, and more to come. So thank you all, and appreciate the time today.